The waters turned red on August 8, 2025. Not some random pond. The Sea of Galilee, the same lake where Jesus walked on water. Blood red. Exodus 7:17 says the water shall turn into blood, the first plague. God's warning to Pharaoh. Israeli officials say it's algae reacting to sunlight. Maybe it is. But then, China unveiled their entire nuclear arsenal. Russia activated Doomsday protocols. Trump threatened to take Greenland by force. The Doomsday Plane landed in LA for the first time in half a century. Iran's currency collapsed. Venezuela's president was captured. European nations are mobilizing troops. One coincidence? Maybe. All of them at once? The Bible warned us. Revelation 16 describes this moment. It's happening. September 3, 2025. Beijing holds its largest military parade in years. China rolled out the DF-41, their most advanced intercontinental ballistic missile. Range, 9,300 miles. It can hit anywhere in the United States. Carries up to 10 nuclear warheads. They didn't just show one, they showed dozens. Right behind it came the DF-17, a hypersonic glide vehicle traveling at Mach 10. Current American missile defense systems can't track it, can't stop it. Putin was there, front row. Kim Jong-un sat right next to him. Defense analysts called it a message, and that message wasn't meant for their own people. January 2026. Footage circulates online. Chinese military vehicles transporting massive missiles on public highways. These things dwarf the cars around them. According to the Center for Strategic and International Studies, China's expanding its nuclear arsenal faster than any projection suggested. Satellite imagery from late 2024 showed over 300 new missile silos being constructed. China's going from around 400 nuclear warheads to potentially 1,500 by 2035. That's not defense. That's preparation. The South China Sea is now basically a Chinese lake. 7 militarized artificial islands, runways, missile batteries, radar systems. Japan's remilitarizing. South Korea extended military service. The Philippines invited more American bases. Everyone in the Pacific is moving pieces on the board. But China's not acting alone. Because while Beijing showed off new weapons, Moscow made moves of its own. January 12, 2026. A radio signal that had been silent suddenly came back online. UVB-76. Military analysts call it the buzzer. It's been transmitting since 1982. Just a repetitive buzzing sound. Nobody knows exactly what it does. But everyone agrees it's connected to Russia's military command. On January the 12th, it went silent for 6 hours. Then encrypted voice transmissions. Short bursts. Coded messages. The last time this happened? October 2022. Right before Russia mobilized 300,000 troops. Radio stations across Europe picked it up. The transmissions lasted 48 minutes, then stopped. According to reports from independent Russian media, military units across Western Russia began repositioning. Supplies moved. Personnel transferred. Putin held a closed-door meeting with top military commanders on January 10th. The Kremlin released no details. Russia's been rebuilding military stockpiles since late 2024. Satellite imagery shows increased activity at ammunition facilities, tank factories running extra shifts, naval yards working around the clock. They're not winding down. They're gearing up. Russia and China conducted joint naval exercises in the Pacific last November, their largest ever. The drills took place just 200 miles off Alaska. American F-22 fighters scrambled to intercept Russian bombers. What used to happen once or twice a year became once or twice a month. Putin didn't just survive Western sanctions, he outlasted them. Now he's watching Trump threaten Greenland, and he's made his calculations. Because what Trump just said gave Putin and Xi exactly the excuse they needed. January 7, 2026. Trump held a press conference. We're going to do something on Greenland whether they like it or not. Not maybe. We're doing it. If we don't do it, Russia or China will take over Greenland. And we're not going to have Russia or China as a neighbor. This was the president-elect threatening to seize territory from an allied nation. Denmark owns Greenland. Has since 1814. Population 56,000 people. Trump continued, "I would like to make a deal the easy way. But if we don't do it the easy way, we're going to do it the hard way. Why is this so important? Because when we own it, we defend it. You don't defend leases the same way." The official explanation is military strategy. Thule Air Base is already there, critical for detecting Russian missiles. But there's more. Greenland has rare earth minerals, elements every modern military needs: precision-guided missiles, fighter jets, radar systems, satellite technology. China controls about 70% of global rare earth production. They can cut off supply whenever they want. Greenland could change that equation. Geological surveys suggest it has some of the world's largest untapped deposits. There's also oil. Estimates put Greenland's offshore reserves at 31 billion barrels. Then there's Arctic shipping routes. Climate change is melting Arctic ice. New lanes are opening that cut transit time between Asia and Europe by thousands of miles. Whoever controls Greenland controls access to those routes. Russia's been building Arctic military bases for years. China declared itself a near-Arctic nation in 2018. They've been investing billions in Arctic infrastructure. Trump's not wrong about the competition. He's just saying the quiet part, loud. Greenland's prime minister responded immediately. "Greenland is ours. We are not for sale and will never be for sale." When asked about Greenland's preference to stay with Denmark, Trump said, "That's their problem. I don't know who he is, but that's going to be a big problem for him." Translation: I'm taking it. Deal with it. European leaders are calling emergency meetings, because if America can just seize Allied territory, what does that mean for NATO, for the entire post-World War II order? But Trump's already moved past talking. What he's doing in Venezuela proves he's not bluffing. January 3, 2026. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro was arrested by a coalition including American Special Forces. Venezuela has oil, the largest proven reserves in the world, 303 billion barrels. Between 2007 and 2023, China loaned Venezuela over $60 billion. Chinese companies moved in. Joint ventures, infrastructure, drilling operations. With Maduro gone, those Chinese contracts are now in question. Trump's made it clear. Those resources stay under Western control. $60 billion, decades of investment, all potentially gone. China's not going to write that off. Then there's the ships. In late December, the U.S. Navy seized 2 Russian oil tankers near Cuba. Russia called it piracy, demanded immediate return. Trump's response: "There are ships now. Those ships are still sitting in Miami." Putin's not a man who forgets. Meanwhile, Greenland's population is divided. Some want independence from Denmark anyway. If they're bargaining chips between superpowers, why not negotiate the best deal? Denmark gives them subsidies, about $560 million annually. What if America offered more? Trump knows how to make offers people can't refuse. The difference is the stakes. This isn't real estate. This is the Arctic. Strategic territory, resource control. And every move he makes, China and Russia are watching. Because while all this plays out, something else is happening that can't be explained by strategy. August 8th, the Sea of Galilee turned red. The Israel Water Authority said it was algae bloom, Peridinium gatunense. When exposed to intense sunlight, this algae releases red pigment. Scientists explained it: natural phenomenon, climate patterns, water temperature. But the timing bothered people. The Sea of Galilee is mentioned over 50 times in the Bible. This is where Jesus walked on water, where he calmed the storm, and now it's red. Exodus chapter 7 describes the first plague. The Nile River turned to blood, a warning that judgment was coming. Revelation chapter 16 describes something similar for end times. The water becomes like blood. Every living thing dies. This hasn't happened at the Sea of Galilee in decades. Last major bloom was the 1990s, and it's happening now. While China displays nuclear weapons, while Russia activates Cold War systems, while Trump threatens Allied territory, one event means nothing. But when you line everything up, the pattern bothers people. In September 2024, 5 rare red heifers were born in Israel. Red heifers are significant in Jewish tradition. Temple rituals. Groups in Israel are actively preparing to rebuild the temple. They've recreated vessels, trained priests. There hasn't been a temple in Jerusalem since 70 AD. Religious Jews believe the heifer's signal that rebuilding is near. Iran's government is collapsing. Israel's regional enemies are weakening. For the first time in modern history, rebuilding the temple might actually be possible. The Muslim Dome of the Rock sits where the temple used to be. Moving it would trigger war, but if the region destabilizes enough, if chaos creates opportunity, maybe that obstacle disappears. Whether you believe the prophecies or not, powerful people do, and those people are making decisions based on those beliefs. January 2026. The Iranian rial hit a new record low. $1 buys over 700,000 rials. 5 years ago, it was 42,000. Inflation is running over 50% officially, closer to 70% unofficially. People can't afford basic goods: bread, eggs, milk. Protests started in December. By early January, they spread to multiple cities. Tens of thousands of people. Death to the dictator. Not about inflation, about the regime itself. The government responded with force. Videos leaked despite internet blackouts, protesters beaten, arrested, some killed. Trump made a statement on January 14th. If they do anything bad to these people, we're going to hit them very hard. No details about what that means. Iran's already on edge. Government weak. Economy in shambles. People rising up. Israel's been hitting Iranian positions in Syria, taking out weapons, assassinating key figures. Reports indicate Russia's been supplying Iran with advanced missile systems, the Iskander-M. In exchange, Iran's been sending Russia drones. It's a partnership born from necessity, both under Western sanctions, both needing what the other has. But intelligence assessments suggest Iran could build a nuclear weapon within months. That's the red line. The question isn't if Israel would strike, it's when, and whether America would back them. Trump's already answered. He's with Israel, which means if things pop off, it won't stay regional, and America's already positioning assets for that scenario. January 9th, 2026. The E-4B Night Watch landed at Los Angeles International Airport, America's Doomsday Plane. It had never landed at LAX before, not once in 51 years. The E-4B is a flying command center, designed to keep America's government operational during nuclear war. It can stay airborne for days, survive electromagnetic pulses, has shielding against nuclear radiation. When nuclear war starts, this is where the president goes. The Air Force said routine maintenance, training exercise, but the timing raised eyebrows. Same week, Trump threatened Greenland. Same week, Venezuelan leadership was overthrown. Same week, Iranian protests intensified. Same week, Russia's radio signals reactivated. Meanwhile, NATO member states are increasing military readiness, quietly moving pieces. Germany increased defense spending. Poland's accelerating border buildups. The Baltic states are on high alert. Everyone's preparing for something. Not necessarily expecting war tomorrow, but positioning for it, just in case. Because the calculations have changed. Trump's unpredictability, China's assertiveness, Russia's desperation, Iran's instability. Anyone could be managed, but all together, happening simultaneously. That's a different equation. Multiple flashpoints active at once create cascade effects. One conflict spills into another. Allies get pulled in. What starts regional goes global fast. So the Doomsday Plane flies to LA. NATO repositions. China displays its arsenal. Russia activates old systems. Everyone sending signals, hoping the other side backs down. But what if nobody backs down? History's full of wars that nobody wanted. That started through miscommunication. Momentum that couldn't be stopped. Archduke assassinated. Suddenly, all of Europe was at war. The question isn't whether current leaders want war. The question is whether they can prevent it. Look at what's happened in 30 days. December 15th. China holds major military parade. December 28th. Venezuelan president removed. January 3rd. Iranian protests intensify. January 7th. Trump announces taking Greenland by force. January 9th. Doomsday Plane lands at LAX. January 12th. Russian Doomsday Radio activates. January 14th. Trump threatens Iran directly. That's not random events. That's a sequence. Each action triggering reactions. The spaces between events are shrinking. During the Cold War, there were guardrails. Red lines both sides respected. Mechanisms to prevent miscalculation. Now, the guardrails are gone. The biblical prophecy angle adds another layer. Millions believe we're in end times, that what's happening is inevitable. When people believe something is destined, they stop trying to prevent it. That mindset is dangerous because it becomes self-fulfilling. Revelation talks about armies gathering at Armageddon, the final battle. The actual location is Megiddo, northern Israel, strategic position. Over 200 battles have been fought there throughout history. If regional war breaks out, forces would naturally concentrate there. Not because of prophecy, because of geography. But to people watching through a prophetic lens, it looks like fulfillment. Whether it's divine plan or human decisions following predictable patterns, the outcome could be identical. War in the Middle East, superpower involvement, global escalation. The Cuban Missile Crisis lasted 13 days. The world came within hours of nuclear war. What resolved it? Kennedy and Khrushchev chose de-escalation. Both prioritized survival over victory. Can current leaders do the same? Everything depends on whether cooler heads prevail. And right now, the heads making decisions don't seem particularly cool. That's when mistakes happen. 3 hours ago, something happened that didn't make headlines yet. The USS Gerald R. Ford changed course in the Mediterranean. 11 ships. Over 5,000 personnel. They were headed west, back toward American waters. Now they're heading east, toward the Suez Canal, toward the Persian Gulf. At the same time, satellite imagery shows increased activity at Chinese naval bases. Ships that were docked are now underway. Russia's northern fleet left port yesterday. Destination unknown. These movements aren't coordinated, each nation responding to their own calculations, but the effect is the same. Everyone's moving into position. The Sea of Galilee is still red. Israeli officials say the algae bloom should clear in weeks. Maybe it will, but whether it's prophecy or politics, natural or supernatural, the outcome's converging on the same point. Multiple militaries, multiple agendas, multiple red lines, all approaching the same region at the same time. The 48-hour window people have been talking about? We might already be in it. Check the links in the description. Live satellite feeds, military tracking sites, real-time updates. Because whatever happens next won't wait for the news cycle to catch up. It's already moving.